July 10th, 2016. Taipei, Taiwan. A storm is brewing, but the real threat is entirely digital. Two men wearing medical masks and fisherman hats enter a bank branch. They approach the ATM, but they don't insert a card. They don't try to break it open, they just wait. Suddenly, the machine starts spitting out cash. Banknote after banknote. This wasn't a glitch. It was ATM jackpotting, a remote command sent from thousands of miles away. While these two collected their loot, 20 other teams did the exact same thing at 34 ATMs across 20 branches in Taiwan. But Taiwan was just a fraction of the operation. This was a global campaign orchestrated by a shadow group known as Carbanak. Their target? Over 100 financial institutions across more than 30 countries, including Russia, the USA, China, and Europe. The total amount stolen? An estimated $1 billion. It remains one of the largest bank heists in human history. To understand how they pulled off a $1 billion cyber robbery, we have to go back to where it all started. April 8th, 2014. The initial breach didn't involve explosives or masks. It started with a single, unsuspecting bank employee. Let's call him Maxim. Maxim receives an email that looks entirely legitimate, perhaps disguised as a legal compliance file. This is spear phishing, a highly targeted attack. Maxim opens the Microsoft Word document, unknowingly triggering a hidden exploit. The document utilizes known vulnerabilities, or CVEs, to silently install a backdoor onto Maxim's computer. This backdoor is the Carbanak malware, a sophisticated Trojan based on older Carberp code designed for ultimate stealth. Once inside, the malware deploys keyloggers. Every keystroke Maxim makes is recorded and sent back to the hackers. The hackers aren't looking for Maxim's personal bank account. They are hunting for administrative credentials. They wait patiently until an IT administrator logs into Maxim's machine to fix a problem or update software. The keylogger captures the admin password. The hackers now have the keys to the kingdom. They use these credentials to move laterally across the bank's internal network, seeking the ultimate prize, the domain controller. The domain controller is the heart of the Windows network. Compromising it gives the hackers full control over every computer in the bank. Meanwhile, banks start noticing anomalies. ATMs dispensing cash randomly. Systems acting strangely. A victim bank hires Kaspersky Lab, a leading cybersecurity firm, to investigate the mysterious ATM malfunctions. Lead investigator Jort Vanderwiel faces a massive challenge. The malware is fileless, hiding deep within the ATM's memory. During the investigation of a Russian bank, Kaspersky discovers data is being actively exfiltrated to servers in China. In a surreal moment, a Kaspersky researcher opens a compromised Word document and types a message to the hackers. In real time, the hacker deletes the researcher's text and types back. They are watching the investigators watch them. The hackers had been inside the networks for months. They weren't just stealing data, they were learning the bank's operations. They hijacked internal video feeds, watching bank clerks process transfers, learning the exact software and protocols used. Once they understood the internal systems perfectly, Carbanak executed their thefts using three primary methods. Method 1, ATM jackpotting. As seen in Taipei, they remotely commanded ATMs to dispense cash at specific times. Low-level operatives, known as money mules, would wait by the machines to collect the physical cash. Method 2, database manipulation. This was far more insidious and harder to detect during routine audits. Hackers would find an account with, say, $1,000. They would artificially inflate the balance to $10,000. They would then transfer the phantom $9,000 to their own offshore accounts. The original account holder noticed nothing. Method 3, swift transfers. By mimicking bank employees, they initiated massive wire transfers directly to their own accounts. But stealing digital money is only half the battle. The real challenge is laundering it into the real world. For the physical cash from ATMs, Carbanak relied heavily on the Moldovan mafia to recruit and manage the money mules. These mules, mostly from Russia and Eastern Europe, traveled globally. In Taiwan, a mule named Bobby hid stolen funds in train station lockers. For the digital transfers, the mastermind converted massive amounts of stolen fiat currency into Bitcoin. The leader of the group, a Ukrainian national known as Denis K., amassed a staggering 15,000 Bitcoins. In 2018, that stash was valued at over $162 million. Today, it would be worth over $1 billion alone. Denis K. lived a life of luxury in Alicante, Spain, converting his digital wealth into physical assets like BMWs and jewelry. But the sheer scale of the Carbanak operation eventually drew the attention of global law enforcement. Europol, the FBI, and agencies from Taiwan, Belarus, Moldova, Romania, and Spain formed a joint task force. The first major break came from the Taipei heist. Taiwanese police identified 22 money mules involved in the operation. While 19 fled the country, 3 were captured. Police raided a hotel room, recovering $1.50 million in stolen cash. In total, Taiwan recovered 90% of the 70 million NT dollars stolen. The captured mules were sentenced to over 4 years in prison, but the mules were just the bottom of the pyramid. The authorities wanted the mastermind. Through painstaking digital forensics, tracking Bitcoin wallets and server IP addresses, they closed in on Denis K. March 6, 2018, Spanish National Police raid a luxury villa in Alicante, arresting the leader of the Carbanak group. They seized $500,000 in luxury cars and jewelry and secured his massive Bitcoin wallets. But Carbanak wasn't just one man. It was a highly organized syndicate, sometimes operating under names like Fin7 or Cobalt Spider. In late 2018, the U.S. Department of Justice announced the arrest of 3 more Ukrainian nationals linked to the Fin7 group. The arrests crippled the organization. The damage was already done. $1 billion had vanished from the global banking system. The Carbanak heist fundamentally changed how banks view cybersecurity. The threat was no longer just external, it was internal. It proved that human error, a single clicked link in a spear phishing email, could compromise an entire financial institution. The group's ability to remain undetected for months, learning internal SWIFT protocols and database structures, was unprecedented. They didn't just hack computers, they hacked the banking process itself, turning the bank's own systems against them. The use of fileless malware on ATMs showed a level of sophistication previously reserved for state-sponsored cyber warfare. And the integration of traditional organized crime, the Moldovan mafia, with high-tech hackers, created a devastatingly effective syndicate. This hybrid model allowed them to bridge the gap between stealing digital numbers and holding physical cash. The investigation by Kaspersky Lab, led by Jort van der Wiel, was a masterclass in digital forensics. They had to piece together the puzzle from fragmented logs, deleted files, and the silent behavior of compromised ATMs. The moment the hacker typed back to the researcher in the Word document remains one of the most chilling encounters in cybersecurity history. It proved that there was a human intelligence actively monitoring the network, adapting to the investigators' moves. The scale of the theft, $1 billion, forced the financial industry to rethink its entire security architecture. Banks realized that protecting the perimeter wasn't enough. They had to assume the network was already compromised. The concept of zero-trust architecture began to gain serious traction in the wake of the Carbanak revelations. But even with advanced security, the human element remains the weakest link. Maxim's clicked email proved that. The legacy of Carbanak also highlights the growing role of cryptocurrencies in international crime. Denis K's 15,000 bitcoins provided a nearly untraceable way to store and move hundreds of millions of dollars. While law enforcement seized some wallets, the decentralized nature of crypto makes full recovery incredibly difficult. The Carbanak group may have been dismantled, but their tactics have been adopted by new generations of cybercriminals. Ransomware gangs today use the exact same lateral movement and domain controller takeover techniques pioneered by Carbanak. The billion-dollar heist was a wake-up call, a demonstration of what happens when brilliant minds turn to digital crime. So, what can we learn from the Carbanak operation? First, the importance of basic cyber hygiene. The entire billion-dollar breach started because software wasn't updated, allowing a known CVE vulnerability to be exploited. If Maxim's computer had the latest security patches, the Carbanak malware might never have taken root. Second, the necessity of international cooperation. Cybercrime knows no borders. It took a coalition of Europol, the FBI, and police from Taiwan to Spain to finally bring Dennis K. to justice. The Carbanak story is a stark reminder of the invisible wars being fought every day on our networks. Over 100 banks, 30 countries, $1 billion, all orchestrated from behind a keyboard. As our world becomes increasingly digital, the vaults of the future won't be made of steel, but of code. And the bank robbers of the future won't wear masks or carry guns, they will carry laptops. The next time you receive an unexpected email with an attachment, think of Maxime. Think of the $1 billion that vanished into the digital ether. And remember the golden rule of the modern internet: update your software. Because in the world of cyber warfare, complacency is the most expensive vulnerability of all. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the Carbanak heist. Stay safe, stay updated, and stay vigilant.